up, you guys? Welcome back, or welcome if you're new to my channel. I'm Reese, and in today's video I'm going to be talking all about Splatoon 3's Side Order, which is a part of the Splatoon 3 expansion pass DLC. And last night, though I was expecting to just play and come to you guys just giving some of my general thoughts, I actually ended up beating it yesterday. So I'm going to give you guys some background, let you guys know about the gameplay, and tell you my personal opinion and my thoughts after beating it. So I'll try and mark the specific chapters so that if you don't want any spoilers on the story of the DLC, you can just breeze right past that. And I'll try and give both general thoughts and then thoughts specific to the story in separate portions. So if any of that interests you, you've come to the right place. And I'm gonna roll the intro. So don't be fooled. I didn't actually beat Splatoon 3 Side Order my first time playing. I actually purchased it closer-ish to when it initially came out. I don't remember when exactly that was. And I gave it a try then, and I believe I was playing it pretty consistently for a while until I got burnout from it. Like, I would quit when I was frustrated, and one of the times where I quit while I was frustrated, I didn't come back to it for some time. So that's why I came back to it now. I believe I have a video on my channel still where I revisited Splatoon 3 after a few months, and I did a video on that almost a year ago now, maybe even longer. So I fall off from Splatoon periodically, and then I'm back in and I'm like all in, but that's what happened. I did initially play, I started Side Order a while ago and then picked it up again later. So memory is a bit fuzzy on the start, but I do have clips to fill in the blanks. So this weird phenomenon starts happening where a lot of people started becoming low-key zombified around Inkopolis. It is Inkopolis, right? And it turns out that all of their souls, I guess, were being taken and put into this dystopian virtual reality meta type place, which is known as the Order Sector. This is a callback to what I believe is the final Splatfest of Splatoon 2, where Pearl actually won and Arena didn't. I saw a video a while ago of somebody saying what Splatoon 3 would have been like had Marina won, I think. I don't know if I watched it, but I just thought it was interesting that they ended up actually showing, in a way, what it would have been like. I also feel like it calls back to the story of the game, the base game of Splatoon 3, where you can see that order-style society. So it comes out to be pretty interesting. So basically this is a world that Marina created, and it wasn't finished, if I'm not mistaken, but it also took over Marina, and at the beginning you have to save her, and that is what takes us into the story. Also, Pearl is a rogue, and there's this other person named Ott that is green and apparently is from Marina's past. Those are the primary characters that are even in this. There aren't a whole lot of characters. It centers around Marina, Pearl, Ott, and you, or me, being 8. Also, I have a little kitten on my lap because she's not allowing me to record away from her, so anyways. Essentially, overall thing is you guys want to reach Order and stop him from creating this lifeless, boring world where no one has any opinions, any thoughts, any dreams. Everyone's just all the same. They're all monotonous and boring. So in order to do that, we have to reach him. So you go up floor by floor, completing objectives until you reach Order. Now, I'm going to get into the gameplay of it. You get other people's palettes, including your own, that you can use. And that's pretty much like your weapon. that you get to use. You can change the specials and the sub weapons later, but ultimately it decides the base weapon and which color chips are going to appear most frequently for you. So color chips essentially are abilities that are there to help the floors become easier for you to traverse. And there are different difficulty levels with the floors, different dangers, and also different fun bonus things that you can do that also add an extra challenge to each floor. The color chips grant you special abilities that make it easier to complete these floors, therefore making it easier to collect other color chips, and therefore helping you actually reach order. One thing about side order is that while you can save and suspend, it will take a life. And once all of your lives are gone, you have to start back at floor 1. And that was more so the challenge of it, seeing how far you can get. So every time that you die, basically, all of your points and your color chips, they're added up to grant you pearls. That is the currency that you can use with Marina. And that currency allows you to buy hacking, or it allows her to hack the game, essentially hack the world, and grant different abilities that also help traversing to the 30th floor become easier. It definitely starts out difficult. So all of it comes together to where it's like, even if you die, you're still getting something out of it because you can still go and get things that will make it easier for you moving forward. There are a bunch of different challenges on these floors that also, to me, give you an idea of what ranked battles are like, and then also have like their own things, but it's a very fun challenge, to say the least. And the more color chips that you get, better off you will be to fight bosses, different enemies. It all depends on what works for you, your playstyle, and what you struggle with, etc. Once I got the hang of all of the different elements of side order and started playing it a lot, it became really, really fun. It's not just a challenge in the sense of there's a hard mode, there's a rigorous mode, there's danger and all that, but it's also like a really good strategy game. It allows you to strategize and link up different strategies for potential stages and with your weapon set. It's just really, if you're a person who likes strategy, it's really, really good for that. Another thing, it's not just all riis challenges. Every fifth floor ends in a 5. You get a vending machine stop. These also appear at random throughout the other floors, but every 5th floor you're guaranteed a vending machine stop. With these vending machine stops, it's possible for you to use the membucks that you've earned from beating floors to purchase color chips and other things such as lives. Once you unlock that, if you want to change your sub weapon or your special, then that becomes possible there too. And they're ultimately useful, just a resting point, and they give you a breather because you get to advance that extra floor without putting in all of the effort. The vending machine stops are a good resting point and definitely helped me out because I definitely had to replenish my lives a couple of times, so that was useful. Every 10th floor though is a boss, which you can eventually get the ability to reveal just on the board so that you know what you're gearing up to having to fight. But at the beginning, it's totally random. And you're not gonna know what you're fighting until you're already traversing floors and you've gone up enough floors to where the boss floor is visible. A lot of the time, I was getting bosses that I hated to fight over and over again, and there was like nothing I could do about it because I'm like, I'm already here, I feel like I'm having a good run. But for some of them, I just knew my run was coming to an end once that boss came. Except for a certain weapon, which when I used a certain weapon, which I'll get to later. I think that gives a good general overview of the gameplay. Oh, I forgot to mention, each palette that you get for individual characters is its own playthrough. So there's also the challenge of, can you beat this using multiple people's palettes? For me, the answer is no, as it stands right now. And I don't even know if I'm going to try. But in each palette, you are awarded a key if you beat a boss. So there are 2 keys per palette. Or is it 3? I'm not 100%. 2 or 3. That's what I know. And those keys unlock the lockers where you get fun stuff like Marina's logs, different cute pictures, and also more palettes from other characters within the Splatoon universe. I think that about sums up the gameplay. So I think I've made it pretty clear how you can work your way up to being able to take on that final boss. And you can take as long as you need, build up all the pearls you need until you buy all of the hacking. You're just dang near invincible at that point and unstoppable at that point. So even if you feel like you're not good at it, eventually you will be. Whether it's by payola, skill, or both. No. Some of my general opinions of this. I already gave some during my talk about the gameplay, but I definitely find Side Order to be a great DLC. It's a great DLC. What can I say without getting spoilers? I'm not gonna spoil the story, but for me, traversing up to the 30th floor was definitely a welcome challenge. I feel like a lot of Nintendo games lately have been void of much challenge, honestly, and Side Order presents a good challenge, and it's like, you don't necessarily feel like playing with other people, but you want to play Splatoon, and you want to play something that's going to challenge you and allow you to strategize and feel like you're good at something. Because trust me, the high you get when you beat a hard or rigorous stage, especially if they have danger tacked up there, it's a high. You feel like you're really great at the game. Now, funny thing is, because the palettes have so many weapons that I don't typically use during Turf Wars or Splatfest or even Salmon Run. Salmon Run, the weapons are random, but the ones that I'm good at were not a part of these palettes. Like the weapons that I'm good with. And me being like, feeling like I would kill it with a particular weapon in Side Order, it does not translate into Turf War or even ranked battles the way you would think that it would. And that was my bad because I thought that it would. I thought, oh, maybe this is just my weapon and I didn't know it all along. But no, it does not translate. Because there's also the addition of like color chips and stuff, and that doesn't really carry over, which I didn't even think about until now while I'm saying this. But it does offer you a great opportunity to try out weapons you wouldn't have otherwise tried or that aren't necessarily your style in Turf War. I know I ended up being best with riis from Splatoon 1's palette, which really shocked me because I never used snipers in anything on Splatoon. So to be good with a sniper and that be what I beat Side Order with blew my mind. Completely blew my mind because by that point I also was comfortable with a certain color chip type that I would typically go for, and I wasn't even necessarily going for that type because it wasn't showing up as much, and I still did my thing. So that really shocked me, and I haven't tried it in Turf War yet to see if I'm any good, but I like things that cover a lot of territory while also being able to kill. I feel like snipers are more so just for the kill. Like I was saying before, Side Order can make you feel like you're really, really, really good at Splatoon until you're humbled when you actually join a match of any kind. But Side Order can make you feel like you're really, really good at Splatoon. In fact, I feel like I am a better player in ways from Side Order, but even though it doesn't necessarily translate over, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm a bit more skilled at the game itself, but not in a way where I'm necessarily better than other people, just on a personal level, better at the game and have a better understanding of gameplay than I thought I did. Now, mind you, I also have beat the general base story of Splatoon 3 as well, so I'm coming from that perspective, and even after beating that, I still feel like it made me that much better of a player and have that much more of an understanding of different ways to play the game. Another thing that I really liked was the dialogue that you get in the elevator. Now, none of the dialogue necessarily spoils the overall story, so I'll still throw that in here at random, but because essentially it's really just like the ending that spoils. So as long as I don't talk about the ending, we're good. Another thing I forgot to mention, dang, I forgot to mention this in the game, but the Pearl Drone actually fights with you. I don't know how or why I forgot to mention that, but she actually fights with you and can be very useful if she has the color chips to be useful. Otherwise, she can be a dud. It completely depends on how you build up your palette. It took me buying different things and different abilities from Arena to be able to come to the point that I was able to come to, where I was able to complete it, which again still surprised me because I was not playing anticipating to beat it. I was just playing more because I missed playing. So I was just playing and playing and playing, and I was having a good time, and so I just kept playing still. And I had a couple of runs that were really good, but then I ended up losing lives because I took risks that I shouldn't have. There was just that one golden run where everything just worked out in my favor. It's also a little bit of a thing of luck too, because you don't know what color chips are going to show up. And there is a way to reset them, reset what shows up as possible options for you to do, but that cost $10, and also I couldn't figure out how to even do that. So I was just rolling with the punches. And you're not gonna get something that's good every single time. So sometimes it's gonna be like, well, what's the best of these mostly useless color chips, or color chips that don't really appeal to me? Or, oh shoot, all of these are so good. Which of these am I able to actually complete? It becomes a matter of that. Sometimes it's a hard choice, sometimes it's really obvious an easy choice. But sometimes it's like nothing's a great choice, and so you just go with whatever you think could possibly benefit you, or you have the likeliest chance of actually getting through. Overall, what I love is just the challenge. The challenge to me is definitely, it's worth a replay. I'm probably going to play it again at times. I'm just like, I want to play some Splatoon. I don't really feel like playing Turf War. I don't really feel like playing Salmon. I don't feel like playing with other people right now. And I already beat the game story, but I haven't tried all the palettes. I haven't tried to beat side order with all the palettes, and now I know what to expect out of the final boss, and I know what to expect out of these stages. Maybe I can do better with palettes that I wasn't so good with before, or was good with but not quite good enough. Maybe I can possibly beat with those now. It's definitely worth the replay. This is where I'm going to get into the story. Essentially, I'm going to talk about the ending and give my thoughts. So if you don't want to know about the ending or haven't seen it yet, you can skip right past this to my final thoughts, or simply click up the video until you are ready, and I will still be here. So once you finally hit the 30th floor, which again, I was still surprised that I reached, you come face to face with Order. That is who is in control of the whole thing, and he's trying to create this perfect world for his creator, Marina's programming, of tranquility where there's no desire and no passion. Just a blank slate so that there's nothing but peace and tranquility in the world, which on its own is an interesting concept just because, but I can imagine a society where we're all void of that. Though, it's another conversation to be had, because I do feel like we're coming to that point. Now, we're not going to get into conspiracies here. So, the actual fight with Order. It's pretty challenging, yes, but I feel if you have the right color chips, then how challenging it is will vary, also depending on your skill level. For me, it was challenging, but not as much as other bosses have been, or as much as I expected it to be. But it definitely had its challenges, and it definitely had me worried that I was going to have to start all over at one point. But with my final life, I was able to defeat Order, and then this really amazing cutscene happens where he's still powerful enough to continue to try to create his world that he envisioned for his instructions by Marina. She's like, no, we don't want that world. You gotta stop. And that causes him to malfunction, and that's pretty much when the boss fight ensues. After you defeat him, he wins, but not necessarily. He wins in the sense that he still has enough power to continue on with his plan. But then there's this moment where you have to continuously press ZR and have this beat going, and music comes more and more as you become clear. And then this really cool thing ensues where Pearl, who has been a robot this entire time, is able to turn to her real self and basically just starts giving it to Order. Then, for one last hurrah, you have to fight him one more time with the help of Pearl, and all of your color chips are stored in the tentacles. When you eat the tentacles, you get this big burst of a bunch of color chips that just help you become super powerful. You fight all of his tentacles again, just like in the first go round, and then you just give it to him with all the power from all the color chips you could possibly get, and Pearl at your side. You give him one big shebang, well, multiple shebangs, but a huge final shebang at the final shebang, and then he is gone. Of course, I think. He actually ends up turning into a cute, tiny order, and basically he's just like a little baby who still wants his little world and things, but sorry kiddo, not gonna happen. And with the power of music, essentially, is how we were able to do this. Pretty epic. It was really, 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 really nice. And then once it was finally time for us to return to where we came from and return Pearl and Marina to Inkopolis, we are in the elevator as the credits roll and a really beautiful song plays that I honestly want to have in my playlist ASAP, and I was really glad to hear it. I literally had like a YouTube video going in the background while I was doing the final fight that I completely heard nothing from because I was just enthralled by this song that played during the credits. And with that, we unlock Inkopolis Square and everything's back to normal, but I didn't like how shady Fry from Deep Cut was being towards Pearl and Marina, aka Off the Hook. I just thought it was weird how shady she was being. Then like, I've been on your side for so many Splatfests now, but you're about to change that for hating on Pearl and Marina after everything we just went through. Are you kidding me? And you also get the suit that you wear in Side Order and an emote that I did not check out quite yet. So for my final thoughts. All in all, this DLC is definitely worth it if you love Splatoon. If you are just like a casual player of Splatoon or you only play it when you play with your friends, I honestly still think it's worth it for you because it could give you another love for the game or a new appreciation for the game that you maybe didn't have before. I say it's 100% worth it if you have Splatoon 3 at all. I feel like it was such a great experience, such a wonderful challenge, and really gives you an extra layer of Splatoon 3's gameplay that can't be beat. The way you can strategize, the way you're fighting, there are some that are just fun, there are some that are so challenging that you don't think you can get through it, and when you do, there's just this certain rush, this high, this confidence you get when you beat those crazy stages that is so worth it. And it's the feeling you want to feel when you game, right? You want to feel like you're the sugar honey iced tea, right? You do. Anyways, you might as well try it. It's definitely worth a try. After all of that, it got me wanting to get back into Splatoon as a whole again, so expect that soon because it's definitely coming. And I think that pretty much concludes my final thoughts on Splatoon 3 Side Order. Great DLC. If you've tried Side Order, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Let me know, what were your initial thoughts? What were your thoughts after you finished it? Or what are your thoughts currently as you're trying to finish it? Or if you stopped trying to finish it, what made you do that? I want to know all the details because I think it's really, really good. It'd be interesting to hear someone who has a different opinion, but I think it's really, really good. So if you feel the same way, if you feel differently, if you want to share your experience, let me know down in the comments. But if you don't like to comment, then do whatever you do like to do. But peace out.
Honesta, honesta.